All right, welcome to another episode of the Start podcast. I'm your host, Brady Silverwood. We have such an amazing episode for you guys today. Before we get started, let's talk about our positive story of the week. Today, the positive story of the week goes out to Natalie Riley. She's a woman that just started leaving love notes for first responders. So she would write a couple nice notes to first responders and to keep their spirits up and whatnot. And she started doing it maybe 4 years ago, and she's done it now for over 4 years. She's been able to write, I think, in total over 20,000 different notes for these people. She lost, unfortunately, her mother to cancer, but her and her mom were the ones who first started making these notes, and she still does them today. And yeah, there was, I want to say, it also said that one of the notes she gave out was to like a retired police officer, and then now she's dating him. So it's like her boyfriend. Sweet. So yeah, that was a cool story. This is kind of why we add the positive story of the week is like people think that you need to do really just like humongous things. And like for this girl, I bet just one day she was like, oh, I'm going to write a nice note to a first responder because, you know, how often do they get thanked for their services, and what they do is so selfless. So anyways, you can start small with something and then it can become something huge and amazing and help a lot of people. All right. So introduction from my man right here. This is Sam. Sam started playing music on the streets at the age of 16. His music really started to gain a lot of traction on YouTube with a song called Blind Eyed, which he performed with his friend and also another very talented musician named Ren. In 2019, Sam got signed to Island Records in the UK and completed his first UK tour in November of that year with his album called From My Sleeve to the World. He is on YouTube's UK 2020 Artists to Watch list, and in a few years from now, I believe he will be more popular than the GOAT of songwriting himself, Ed Sheeran. Yep, I just said that. I can't wait to see all that this man accomplishes in the years to come. Couldn't be more proud to have this guy sitting right next to me for this podcast today, Sam Tompkins. What's up?
Yo, yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good, brother. So, I guess to give people some context real quick, I'll just like say the story of how I first came across your music. So this was in 2018, and it was honestly, if anyone's ever heard the Scooter Braun story of how he just started listening to like a Justin Bieber, I think it was just a video on YouTube early in the morning. It was really similar to that. It was maybe like 2 a.m. and I just like, you know, how YouTube will just suggest you so much music. And I came across that music video with you and Ren singing Blind Eyed. And I remember it just like moved me so much to where like I started just listening to all your guys' songs. And then I went on Instagram like a crazy man and like DM'd you, and we started talking, and then I was like, dude, you should come out to LA. And do you want to share anything else about it?
Yeah, so Brady like you hit me up and said, hey, do you want to come to LA? And I was like, this is interesting. This is a person I've never spoken to or heard of or met before, asking me to cross oceans and hang out with him in LA. And of course I said yes. And within a few months I was out there, and I was there for a couple of weeks. And this was in December of 2018. And it sparked the chain of events that eventually went and changed my life. So that's basically what happened. But it was crazy because I've literally wanted to come to LA like my whole life, but I could never afford it back in those times. So I was kind of hoping that one day like a brand or someone from out here would mostly like a company or someone like that. I was expecting, not like one guy just filming on YouTube.
Yeah, and I mean we were talking about it this week too. It's like it's like I could have been just some crazy super fan that had been following you
Absolutely.
for years, like since you were like a young kid. But no, Sam trusted me, and then Sam said, like it kind of just sparked our whole friendship, and
Yeah.
you came out actually to visit or to surprise me the night before I finished my run across the country, and
Yeah. That was
that
special.
that like blew my mind, dude. I remember I was like trying to go to bed, and I was like, who's knocking on the RV door? I'm trying to get some sleep the night before this big run. And then it was like Xander, Martine, Sophie, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just came in the RV and
I
like,
remember I watched the video all the time, and I remember you said, "Who is it?" And I was like, "Hello," in like some American accent. And,
bro, I was scared. I was like, what is going
the-
on?
And then I came in, and yeah, you definitely weren't expecting it, and it was probably one of the top 5 moments of my life, I'd say.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, that's kind of how me and Sam first met. So kind of just like what this podcast is all about is I want people to like connect and resonate with your story, and I personally have been so inspired by your story, and it's a story of just persistence, commitment, hard work, just this like deep core belief that you can keep going and that you can make something for you in your life.
Definitely.
And so yeah, let's give I know a good amount about your story, but let's give the listeners some background, I guess. Like, how did you first, like when you were young, was it just like music was always your thing, or I guess when did you first start getting into music?
I think it's funny. I knew I never wanted to have like a normal, regular kind of 9 to 5. At first, it was like, for me, it was like football, soccer here. But for people who actually know the sport and appreciate the sport, it's called football. And I wanted to be a
You guys
football
have a
player.
guy named like David Beckham out there, right?
Yeah, just a guy called David
Okay.
Beckham, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Yeah, we have David Beckham. We have quite a few people. But yeah, I wanted to be a footballer. Then when I grew out of that, at about 12 to about 16, I wanted to be like a skater. I wanted to skate for a living because that seemed fun. And then I always liked singing the whole time through that. And then one day, I was in Brighton, which is touch my hand. I was in Brighton, and that's where I'm from in the UK. And it was just after my 16th birthday, and I'd been given a little bit of money from my mum to like go have some fun with my friends, and I spent it all on absolute bullshit. Wait, can I swear?
Yeah, that's all right.
Absolute rubbish that I can't remember.
Just
And then
it cost me a lot of money, but it's
okay,
okay.
no problem.
Yeah.
And top one. Gotta just up that.
Just adjusting.
How does that sound?
Some
Does
mic
that sound better?
right now.
Do you want to ask? Shall I carry on going?
Yeah. Marty, keep that.
What?
Marty's laughing like a hyena right now. He needs to chill out.
Right. Wait. Where was I?
So you were talking about the 16. You just turned 16, and you were spending it on stupid things.
I spent it on I spent my money on a bunch of stupid things, and I can't remember a single one of them now. But I remember going into this one shop in Brighton in the lanes, which is where a lot of the boutique-y kind of stores are, not like the town centre, more like the outside bit. And there was this one shop called Route 1, and there was this one hat, and I remember it was like I actually ended up giving this hat to a fan. I really wish I hadn't, but because it would have meant so much to me to have it. But I was
Maybe if
gassing
the
them on
fan's listening.
Definitely not.
No?
Definitely not. I don't think
Okay.
that fan is still a fan of me. I think that was a long, long time ago. She's probably thrown it away. But yeah, there was this one hat that I really liked, and I couldn't afford it. I could have afforded it at the start of the day, but I couldn't now. It was like £15. And I remember my friends were like, hey, you can sing, why don't you go perform on the street for a bit and see if you can make the money. I kind of as a joke, but I was like, all right, I'll do it.
To get the hat?
I'll call your bluff and I'll do it. And Yeah, and I did it, and within like 20 minutes, I had the money. So I went straight into the shop, bought it, and that was the first time I think I'd ever
Sang in front of anyone?
sang in front of anyone. Really, like really sang in front of anyone. Like just
Yeah.
believed in myself.
So you knew you could sing before this
Yeah, well, I
experience.
knew that I was better because I think like at the start, when I was a kid, I thought everyone was able to just like hold a tune. But when I got older,
Definitely not.
When I got older, I started hearing people like sing, and I was like, I'm definitely, definitely better than a lot of those people. And then like I just had the confidence to like try it, and then yeah, I bought that hat, and then every weekend after that, for the whole summer, I was like earning money by going busking and like. And yeah, it was great. It was
So busking, like I know what it is, but if someone listening doesn't, it's pretty much you just go out on the street, you play for,
and you entertain people. You entertain
Yeah.
people with your talent, and
and then you get
and
paid.
you know what's
Were you
great about
getting
busking?
paid? How much were you getting paid? Like those first few
The
weeks? you'd
first
say?
few weeks was like £60 for like an hour or two,
Gotcha.
until my voice was feeling like it was done, and then after that, I started making a lot more because I started doing it with one of my friends, and he had like an amplifier. Because when I first started, it was just me singing with nothing else, like no microphone, amplifier, or
Just
like
the raw talent.
literally no guitar. I couldn't play the guitar at this time. Like I literally did nothing but just put my current hat down, and
And then just start
and-
singing.
Yeah, and just start singing,
Wow.
and eventually, I
Where did you get like? Because someone listening to this, like as a 16-year-old, I wasn't that confident to do something like this. Like, were you just like maybe that first experience of being able to buy the hat? You're like, wow, these people reacted so strongly, so it's not that scary. Or,
Yeah, I think what it was is that I'd always wanted to try singing in front of people, but I always got scared because of the idea of having to talk to them afterwards. So like when I was singing, I'd feel fine kind of on stage, but the thought of then coming off the stage and then having to chat with the people in the audience,
Interesting.
that freaked me out. But the beauty of busking is that I never really had to do that because people would watch and then kind of
just
walk
kinda
on by,
go
and I'd probably
off.
never see them again. You feel me?
That is so
Like,
interesting.
so that was like not that was like it was like easy. And then by the end of that summer, I was like perfectly happy singing in front of anyone and everyone because I was like,
You had already done it.
I'd already
pretty
done it,
much.
and like I was just like fine. It was perfect, and I got better at like speaking to people and stuff. Yeah, it was dope.
That's amazing. Did you? So you started making money doing singing, I guess. Did you
Yeah.
like have any other jobs or?
And I was still at what's called college at home, which is when you're 16 to 18. It's like in between high school and university, and it's like a 2-year
Oh,
stint
okay.
between high school and university, and we call it college. And I was at college.
That's not confusing.
For 2 years. I didn't have a job because I could busk and make money, and all of that, but I ended up. What was it? I ended up getting a job, my first job when I was 18, when I was out of college, and that was real estate here, or an estate agent back at home. That was what I did, and I did that for like 4 or 5 months, and then I quit that. And then I was an external decorator for a while. I painted houses on the outside on the seafront of Brighton. That was probably my favourite job. I probably would do that again if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now. And then I ended up working at a phone company and working in a store for a company called Vodafone.
That's cool. Yeah, I've heard of Vodafone. Did you, I guess, in the back of your head, always think that music would be your primary way of
100%. Eventually,
stuff?
I knew that I just told myself like I'm gonna be able to do it. It wasn't really the only times I ever doubted it were when I was just having a bad time in life in general. That's the only time the doubt would seep through. But any other time, I was just like now. There's no that for me. Like ever since I was 16, I was like that. What's funny is that in comparison to even when I was like a child who played football. And when I was skating and stuff, even with that innocence and the naivety that comes with that age, I always knew I probably wouldn't do it. But with music, there was never a shadow of a doubt. Like it was just, I'm definitely going to be able to do this because I know no one is doing what I can do, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like an arrogant thing. It was more like just like an inner confidence thing. And I'm sure that is what's kind of been able to carry me through all the darker moments and stuff that come with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Was your like family and friends really supportive of it all?
They were. Like, friends are funny because I'm not friends with like hardly any of the people I was friends with that age now, for various reasons. And family is, I think the friends thing is, it's funny because the reason why I'm not friends with a lot of them is because they became different when my life started changing. They didn't stay the same. And even though my personality was the same and the way I treated them was the same, obviously my lifestyle was different.
Yeah.
But their lifestyle didn't change, and that's perfectly fine. But their personality did, and the way they treated me and the way that they acted around me did, and that's why I've got a different set of friends now. And on top of that, my family, like, they were really supportive, but they always told me to have a backup plan, but I just wasn't willing to do that because I always thought if I have a backup plan, that means I'm setting myself up for failure. So I just started doing like dead end jobs that I knew didn't want to continue and didn't really want to rise up the ranks. Like, I'm sure like there was times where I was offered to like take on more hours, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that because that means I've got less time to do
To focus on the
focus
music.
on the music, and I'm so glad I didn't do that.
That's
Even
interesting.
Though I was really struggling, like I was like
Yeah.
struggling for money. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do that.
Yeah. I feel like a backup plan in a sense is like when it gets tough with like your primary plan, it's almost just like a way out.
Yeah,
And
and for a lot of people, it's great. And like I suppose like my backup plan was just working these jobs, but like I think they wanted me to have a career, like like an actual career, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like that's just not me. I'm not that person. I've always prided myself on being one of those people that just like will just carry on doing the thing that's maybe a bit detrimental sometimes until I might see that breakthrough. You know?
Yeah. What were like some influences for you? I guess maybe in music, and then just maybe around you growing up, that people that maybe have been successful.
Influences is a good one. I think that I've been influenced by various people in different stages in my life. Like when I was a kid, my first like idol was like a footballer called Thierry Henry, and he played for Arsenal, which is the team I supported. And he was just like like a god, like for me. Like he was just the most amazing person in the world, and he was like my first idol. And then secondly, when I was into skating, I was really into this guy called Paul Rodriguez, P-Rod, and like I loved his style of skating, and I thought he was cool, and he tried his hand at acting in this film called Street Dreams with Rob Dyrdek, and I thought that was awesome. And then like through all of that, I really liked Stevie Wonder, like the whole way through growing up, because my mum liked him. But like in terms of musical influences, like what I listened to when I was younger, I just listened to what my brother and sister listened to, mainly my sister. She liked R&B and stuff, and that got me into R&B, and it's probably the reason my voice sounds the way it does now, because I just spent hours imitating them.
Yeah.
So I'd say my biggest musical influence is probably my sister, just for having that taste. Because if she didn't have that taste, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, if you know what I mean. Because I wouldn't have discovered vocal runs, and I would sound different. And then when I was like 16, like I really loved Ed Sheeran and his first album. That was like insane to me, because I loved the fact that he didn't have some like perfect look. He was just himself, and the music spoke for itself, or sang for itself.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And as I've got older, I've started like resonating with different people throughout history, like Vincent van Gogh, and there's an artist called Don McLean who actually wrote a song about Vincent van Gogh called Vincent, and that's what sparked my love for Vincent van Gogh.
I've heard you reference him in a couple of the songs.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, so
That's
those
cool.
are the influences.
So how many years did it take, I guess, before like your first official show, you think?
I started doing music at 16, and I had my first show when I was 22, which is the age I am now. So 6 years before I had my first show where everyone was there for me.
Wow.
6 years. But
Man.
it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
And this was for the From My Sleeve to the World tour.
Yeah. From my sleeve to the UK and Ireland tour.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It was
So
in Dublin, I think.
was it when did the whole Blind Eye thing like blow up the YouTube video?
So the story of Blind Eye is that me and my friend like Ren wrote it in his old bedroom, in his old apartment, and I suppose we kind of sat on it for a while because we both went through a lot of stuff in that period of time, and we just weren't ready for something like that to come out, and it still hadn't come out, but we were filming a video for something else, and we had the camera crew who were our friends, and we just went, oh, we should go busking. And the camera crew were just going to hang out with us and not film. But, like, we played Blind Eyed once on the guitar, and we were like, oh, we should get it just for promo for this song. And then the second time we played it, like, ever, like, because we just jammed it, the second time we played it ever on the guitar and my voice, I think...
Like, was the actual video?
Was the actual video, and that has gone on to get millions and millions of views, like, across all platforms. And that's, like, what started off this thing that's gone wild.
Yeah. I mean, like, even when I hear the song to
and that
this
was
day...
I think that was in April 2018, May 2018.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The video came out on YouTube in April 2018, and it went viral in June. It had like 10,000 hits, 15,000 hits, maybe 20,000. And then June came, started going.
Yeah, and then I probably watched it in like August.
Yeah.
June, July, August. Wow. So had you ever gotten that much like traction on any of your music before that video?
No, that was the first one of my own stuff that had gone viral. I'd had little bits and bobs of like covers I'd done like go viral and maybe hit about half of what that video did, but yeah, nowhere near.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when I think about it. I don't even know how it happened. Like, because normally with a YouTube video, it kind of, if it's going to explode, it explodes straight away, right?
Right away.
It doesn't. It very rarely like goes on to do it like 2 months later.
Yeah.
Or it has like a couple of viral moments because like one page will post it then, and then like 3 months later, some other page that's like recycling old posts from another page will then give it that second go. But we didn't have a first go until like 2 or 3 months after the fact. So yeah, it's really strange.
Do you still like get messages from people that like only talk about that song and stuff?
Yeah, to the point where it's like, geez, like listen to some newer stuff.
Look at my new music.
Like not even like in a bad way. It's just like you're like that's like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that's like so long ago.
He has amazing new music out.
I'll never stop being grateful for all the messages I get off that song though.
Yeah,
and stuff. It's just funny when they send it because I'm like, geez, how are they only? Like, it's funny to think that there's people like because that was like a moment in time for me. That was like a snapshot in time for me. That like I'll never get back. But every now and then someone lives that moment for the first time. Do you see what I mean?
That's interesting.
And that's like hella cool for me.
Yeah. That's what's cool about these platforms. Like I was even telling you, this podcast right now, in like 10 years from now, someone could just find this podcast and then gain a lot of knowledge from it or
100%
or lessons, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, so you're talking a little bit about that first show. What did that feel like for you to go from, I guess, 16-year-old, you had kind of sang a little bit on your own but never in front of anyone, to like now you're 22 years old, there's people in the crowd, they were singing you back the lyrics, right? Of your music that you made. Tell me about how that made you feel.
So like the first show was in Dublin, and I remember the venue for that show, because what it was is that I'd never done an actual one show with all my fans in. But we decided to do a tour and like skip that first show out. And we sold out the whole thing. And that was like 2,000 tickets. And that was Dublin, Manchester, Bristol, Brighton, London, and Glasgow. and that's 6 cities, 4 of which I've literally only been like once in my life.
Yeah.
And
so that's just nuts for
it
you to
was
show
crazy.
up to a
And
place
like
you've like.
I remember the London show was the craziest because that's like the nearest crowd. So I pulled in we did the biggest venue for that. And at first we did it like 150 cap venue, but we sold that out in 5 minutes. So I was like, right, let's like do something else. Let's like find something else. So we found another one, and the only one we could find was like 900. And I was like, oh, that might be a little bit too much because all the other shows were like 200 at the most.
Yeah.
And we sold that out as well. And then like I remember coming on stage for my London show, and I saw all these people with their smiles. Like I felt like their smiles were so big they were like touching me. Like it was so like it was. I came out and I just like my whole life froze for a quick sec, and I've never had that ever. Like in my whole lifetime, I've never felt that like that feeling.
Yeah.
And that is a feeling I'll probably be chasing for the rest of my life because I can't even explain that to people who haven't experienced it, or like probably similar feeling to when like you touch the water, you know, when you were on that run, and I saw that. Like I was so glad to see that. But like when like that's the only thing I compare it to. It's like a moment of euphoria that you'll just be like, wow, that was a real moment in time. And seeing all those people
That's
there
amazing,
for me,
man. Wow.
and that was insane. And I remember I sang my song "Follow Suit," which is a really personal song about one of my friends, and I stopped singing the first chorus because I was like, I want to try something, and then like everyone was singing it because I thought I could hear it because I have in-ears in my head.
Yeah.
Thing. I was like, I can't because you can only really hear yourself, so I like took them out, and
So you didn't like know that they were gonna be singing it
yeah,
back.
and then like I stopped, and I was like, oh wow, and everyone was singing every single word. Everyone was captivated. I was captivated by them, and they were captivated by my music, and it was like. That is a feeling that I cannot describe to anyone. Even if it's someone who's felt the exact same thing, I couldn't describe it to them because it's like, it's so personal.
Yeah.
Like, and my music is so personal, and the idea that that is reached and connected with that many people is like absolutely like, geez Louise, you know.
And that's why I gravitate. That's why I think I gravitated to that YouTube video and to you is like. You're so real with your music, and every song that you put out is so just you, and every cell of your body is in that music and is in that song. And like I don't know, it's an industry that like a lot of music will come out and it's like someone else writes it for them, and they don't even like really, I don't know.
Connect with it, but do you know that's okay. That's
Which is okay. I'm just saying.
And
I'm
yeah,
just saying.
exactly,
Like,
exactly. I know, but I'm saying like that's okay. Like people can do that, you know. Like that's fine. But like for me, like it's really hard to imagine a world where I'm not writing my music, you know.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
because
like
it has to come
I
from
think
me.
that's why it moves people so much.
Yeah.
Is because they know it's coming straight from your heart, and it's like, it's literally like the title of, you know, From My Sleeve to the World. Yeah. So what would you say has been like the biggest challenge with your just maybe music career?
I think it's dealing with criticism, whether that's from people I respect or people I don't know, like, or just, you know, anyone in between. Like, it's fucking difficult, man. I find that so difficult to like deal with because and it's probably, people could probably think of it as immaturity, but it's like when something means so much to you, it's so hard to take any kind of negative opinion because you're like so connected to it that it's like, I don't want to sound cliche, it's like a part of you, like it's like a genuine part of your heart. So like to have to, you know, listen to someone like maybe slate it online or like, you know, it's really hard, and to bite your tongue and like just accept that that's how they feel. And there's been so many times where I've really got in my head and like doubted myself because of that. But I'm slowly learning that, you know, it's just the more, and the thing is, the bigger you get, the more it becomes the norm for people to feel entitled to say what they want about you online, or, you know, people think that my heart's like I'm made of steel, like it doesn't affect me, but like you can clearly see from my music, I'm a very sensitive person. So like anything that I see negative or positive affects me, you know, because I'm a human being, you know.
And it's crazy because it's like you could get like, say, 10 people to say something really nice and positive about your music, but then just
That one person can
that
ruin
one
it all.
person, you could just get, for whatever reason, your brain can like focus in on that.
I remember there was this time where I was looking at the Blind Eyed video, and I was watching the we had like, I don't know how many likes are on there, like 50,000 likes on that video, and there's probably like 300 dislikes. I remember every time that a new dislike would come, out of how many thousands of likes, I'd be so disappointed, and I can't even explain why. It's just like seeing that someone disliked it makes me unhappy, and as I say, I'm getting used to that now though, so I'm hopefully won't care about that soon.
What I talk about is like anytime that, you know, people dislike what you're doing or they say something negative, like even someone tried to talk me out of running across the country, and like it's not, they're really not like ill-intended with it. It's more so in their head they don't think they can do it, so it's almost like, I can't do it, so you're not going to do it either. They try to just, it's almost like they're reflecting their fear on you. So yeah, I mean, you have, like I told you, you know, you have such a tribe behind you.
Yeah.
And just always remember that, like, for every person that dislikes you, your team has got your back, and you're
100%, man.
You know, they're not going to be at the show.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
They can, you know, do their little Twitter fingers on the computer and stuff.
Absolutely.
So to spin that in a more positive sense, what has been your most positive experience through the music? Maybe an experience with a fan, or just whatever.
There's been a couple. I remember there was this one show in Bristol. This one just sticks out to me, where it was like the end of the show, and at all my shows, I always like meet everyone. I always tell everyone I'm coming outside. Doesn't matter if there's like 200 people or 400 or 500 or 1,000. I'll try my hardest to speak to everyone that sticks around. Mm-hmm. And there's this one guy like at the end of the line, and he came up to me with his girlfriend, and he was like shaking, and I was like, "Are you okay?" Because I was genuinely concerned. And he was just so happy to see me, and we had a nice chat, and it turned out that he had autism, and he's like normally if he's in crowded spaces, like he gets really, it's like too much for him. It's like a sensory thing. I think it's called a sensory overload, where it's like too much, like all around you.
Yeah.
And like he said that my show was the first show he ever plucked up the courage to go to, and like it was like the first time he'd ever been like in a crowded space, like a venue, a show.
Wow.
And there was like 250 people there, and he said this inspired him to go to more shows. That was probably the most insane experience, because that was like, you're literally almost risking your life to come to one of my shows, you know, risking your like whole being.
Is facing his like biggest fear to just
and
listen
like,
to your music.
Yeah, and it's just like, that was insane to me. That was yeah, I'll never forget that.
That's special, man. So if you could like talk to 16-year-old Sam Tompkins right now, throughout the last, you know, seven years, let's say, of things that you've learned, what advice would you give him? Or anyone out there listening right now, maybe someone that's busking and they really believe in their music, but they haven't had that Blind Eyed video, or they haven't had that first show.
I think that what I'd say is appreciate the time you have with people before it becomes a thing where you don't get to see them as much. Like I don't get to see like my family as much as I'd like to, and I don't get to spend time with as much time as with my girlfriend, like quality time, and like friends and stuff from back home that I went to school with. I wish that I could like make it so I like took a step back every time that I saw them before it was like this, and was like, this is so sick that I can do this and just be with you guys and have a good time. Also, like, you know, I've lost friends and stuff, and kind of appreciate those relationships a lot more, and friendships, and like remember to check up on people as much as possible. And I think I've done a good job of doing that with my friends, like over the years, but like just that little bit more, just so you can really feel like you're like, they know that there's someone out there that's really rooting for them, you know? I think that would be it.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. When I was like in middle school, I remember, and maybe some other people can relate to this as well, but I feel like everyone at some time has been like bullied or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I remember just for me, middle school was like not so much fun, and I just wanted to be older or like be in high school or be in college, because like people say that college is the best time of your life and stuff. And what I got like from the advice you just gave, staying in the moment, is so key, because it's almost like you could accomplish so much in your life, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not in the moment and enjoying it, and you're always thinking about that next meeting or that next show or whatever it is, you can't actually be there and enjoy it. And it sounds like you've been able to like kind of master that a lot as you've kind of gone through it.
Yeah.
In that, like, you know, like you just said, when you performed that first show, it was almost like a moment in time. It just kind of was just still. That's amazing, man. All right, so we're almost done here. I just wanted, I mean, I know like this was something like when we first met each other, I knew just right away that you're not shy when it comes to like singing and presenting your music. So if you want, only if you want, you could just like sing a little something. Someone who's never listened to you before.
Just a second.
Oh yeah, he has a little guitar over here, bringing it over. That's it. This is just how Sam is. Like right when I met him, he just started singing, and I was like, luckily he's good.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Despite what I think, I'm a lot less lonelier whenever I'm around you. Time goes in a blink, but it stopped for a while the moment that I first found you. It's like being a kid and ripping the PVA glue right off my little hands. And I can admit happily, wholesomely, that I am your biggest fan. Oh boy, you're my best friend. I decided to take you home and show my parents I'm not alone. Where I resided, where I was prone to sit in silence and live unknown. You understood me and really cared. You never would leave me standing there. I was so relieved I began to share. My heart's on my sleeve with whatever I wear, boy. You're my best friend. Cool.
Wow. Bravo. Man. That was awesome, dude. I didn't know you were going to sing us a full song.
How about
Still
that?
going.
How about a bit of that? How does that sound?
That was amazing. Is that
Thank
just
you.
Is that like a new song? Or?
Yeah, that's a song called Oh Boy. That's about a dog I never had, but I wanted.
Oh wow. That's cool. All right. That's about it. We end our shows with just saying one thing you're grateful for. You want to go first?
I'm grateful for my friendship with you, bro. When I was really struggling, you were there, and you introduced me to everyone around you, and everyone around you has been just the exact kind of person I'd expect someone as amazing as you to be with, and surround yourself with, and you honestly both saved my life and changed my life without even realizing it, bro. And I'll always remember that, because there's not many people out there that would put their own pride aside to like hit someone up and just be like, look, I know this is a bit crazy, but would you like to fly over to the other side of the world? And it you know, it changed my life, and I'm so proud of you, and yeah, that's what I'm grateful for.
Damn, bro.
How about you, bro? Try and top that.
Dude, you're gonna make me cry. Here, let's get. I want to hug you.
Let's hug it out, boy.
This won't be.
I love you, man.
Listen, I love you, dude.
I love you so much, man.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say to you. Is,
Oh yeah, of course.
No, seriously,
course it
man.
was.
Like, I mean, the people who have really been following my journey know that before, when I was leaving my company, I just lost so much of my confidence, and I remember, bro, like, it's gonna sound crazy, but I remember like my days were so dull, and I was like really going through depression and whatnot, and like I just remember how excited I got when I found that Blind Eyed video, and then like I sent these DMs, and then it's like you're responding to me. I just remember it, like it really lifted my spirits, and like just knowing you, getting to know you, and to like see that, you know, like I feel like I'm a fan of you, and I'm your friend.
Yeah, man.
And it's
the
like
same here, man. Same here.
And it's like you're.
That's
you
why
know,
you didn't
people
have to pay
people
me anything
can
to be here.
people.
I'm just joking.
I paid them a lot. No, people, you know, like will just listen to your music and see you on Instagram and whatnot, but they might not like have the interaction I have with you. And just for anyone wondering out there, he is exactly the words that he puts out.
Thank you, man.
Like it's 100% real, and I love you, bro. So
I love you too, man. Give me one of these, boy.
all right, so yeah, that's pretty much the episode. Go follow this man, Sam Tompkins UK, on Instagram, social media, all that good stuff. And yeah, hope you all have a great day. All right,
Hell yeah.
peace.
Peace.